Now that you've learned a little about momentum, now you're ready to move on to do some actual problems. So for this problem, imagine there's two football players running toward each other. And there's a smaller one who weighs 150 pounds, who's colliding with a bigger one who weighs 250 pounds. And I'll give you the velocity of the smaller one as being 10 meters per second to the right. And the velocity of the larger one is some velocity v. And you have to figure out what is his velocity based on certain information. So to start with, this is the speeds they're going with. But at the end, they collide and both have a velocity of 0. So calculate a few things. First, calculate what's the total momentum of the system at the beginning. And do this in terms of v, because you don't actually know the velocity of the bigger guy. Then second, you should calculate the momentum at the end. And then finally, find a way to set the velocity v of the bigger football player so that the starting momentum is the same as the ending momentum. So take a few seconds, pause the video and try this, and when you're ready, we'll go through it together. Okay, let's move on to this problem. First part, relatively simple. We know momentum equals mass times velocity. We can just sum the two momentums together. So the first momentum is 150 pounds times 10 meters per second. And because he's going to the right, which we define as the positive direction, that number's positive. So that comes out to 1,500. And the second guy is 250 pounds going in some velocity v. So that's 250 v. So as a result, we add these two together. 1,500 plus 250 v equals our momentum. And remember, p means momentum. So this is our original momentum. Now let's go on to calculate our final one. Final's just mass of 150 times velocity of 0 plus mass of 250 times velocity of 0 equals 0. And now let's set them equal. For them to be equal, 1,500 plus 250 v has to equal 0. If we subtract 250 from both sides, 1,500 equals negative 250 v, or negative 6 equals v. Now let's take a second to think about why this is negative. The number 6 makes a lot of sense. After all, he's a bigger guy, so he needs less speed to achieve the same momentum. And they should have the same momentum, because the momentum exactly cancels out. But why negative 6? Because remember, the velocity is a vector, and the vector is pointing to the left. And since it's a negative quantity, that means to the left, and the positive quantity. So as a result, that makes a lot of sense. And it's very important to keep track of what direction your vectors are pointing in, because in higher dimensions, 2 or 3 dimensions, you are going to have issues where you need to keep track of which part of the direction is going where. So you can either say the velocity is negative 6 meters per second, or you can say that it's 6 meters per second to the left. And either of those works, they mean the exact same thing. Hopefully you got that. If not, go back and rewatch it. And if you do, you're ready to move on to the next one.